Good morning, everybody. Today's our topic is sources of ancient Indian history. This is our first chapter. I want to share my PPT to understand ancient Indian history and culture in a well manner. This is brief information about me. I am working as a assistant professor in Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapit Pune. I am teaching history there. Ancient India map. Then research methodology in history sources. There is a quotation, no document, no history. While we understand very well Indian history and culture in a detailed manner, we have to go through the sources. So sources are divided into two parts. One is primary and another one is secondary. Primary sources also in written form, sometimes unwritten forms. There are two broad categories by historical evidence. They are documentary and non-documentary. The documentary evidence which are the most important are those that are recorded. The non-documentary evidence include the oral information and non-personal evidence. Literary and archaeological records are the two main categories that give evidence of ancient Indian history and culture. The literary sources include literature in various languages, that is Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, and other literature along with other foreign accounts and regional languages also. The archaeological explorations and excavations have opened the great landscapes of new information. To understand Indian history and culture in a well manner, we have to go through these two sources. Then literary sources, that is Brahmanical literature. First comes Vedas. So, how many Vedas are there? As historical point of view, there are 4 Vedas, that is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. And these Vedas give us information about Aryan period. Not only Aryan period, these Vedas also give us information about Aryan socio-economic, religious, and political life in details. After these 4 Vedas, then comes Brahmanical, Brahmanas and Upanishads. Another class of literature connected with the Vedas are Brahmanas and Upanishads. These Brahmanas are the prose commentaries on Vedic hymns. The Upanishads contain the philosophical and ethical discourses. Through Upanishads, we know the religious and cultural thoughts of the Aryans. There are elaborate treatises on God, soul, and super soul, and along with salvation mentioned in this Brahmanas and Upanishads. Then comes to Vedangas and Upavedas. In addition to Brahmanas and Upanishads, there are 6 Vedangas. Those are phonetics, astronomy, ritual, grammar, etymology, and metrics. Let's see detail through PPT. Then these are the 4 Vedas. Then Vedangas, that is phonetics, rituals, grammar, etymology, and metrics. Vedangana has been written in sutra form. Then later Vedic literature, Brahmanas and Aranyakas and the Upanishad. Brahmanas, already I mentioned, that gives a description of Vedic rituals. Aranyakas and Upanishads give speech on different spiritual and philosophical problems. Puranas are 18 in numbers. They are very important historical point of view. Then in Puranas also, they give us information about political, social, economic, religious condition of India in different times. The important historical Puranas are Vishnu Purana, Vayu Purana, Brahma Purana, Bhagavad Purana, and Maurya and Matsya Puranas. They are 18 in numbers. Then epics. So we all know that the great 2 epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Then what is the importance of these epics? What we learn from these 2 great epics? How epics also important to us to write the history in a well manner or reconstruct the history, ancient Indian history and culture in a well manner. That is, for example, if I take Ramayana, which which was written in Sanskrit language by Valmiki. It's enlightened a struggle between the Aryans and non-Aryans. Then Puranas, already I mentioned that. Then we go to the Buddhist and Jain literature. Most of this literature written in Prakrit and Pali language. The early Jain literature is mostly written Prakrit language. Then most of the early Buddhist literature is written in Pali language. The Buddhist books are called Jatakas. They have been given us historical importance because they are related with the previous births of the Buddha. There are more than 550 such stories. See, in this Buddhist Jatakas, we found that a life sketch of Buddha, his preachings, how Buddhism spread in other parts of the world, and how he mentioned the Ashtanga Marga and first preaching of Buddha, everything mentioned in these Jataka stories. The historical information mentioned in Jain literature also help us in reconstruct the history of different regions of India and how the Mahavira founded the Jainism and what were the principles of Jainism, why Jainism success at the time and why it is failure in India, and what were the principles of Jainism. Jainism and Buddhism literature give us a lot of information about to us to know the Indian history and culture in a well manner. Then Dharma Sutras and Smritis, they were rules and regulations for the general public and the rulers. It can be equated with the constitution and the law books of the modern concept of polity and society. For example, Manusmriti, Dharma Shastras were compiled between 600 and 200 BC. Then Kautilya Arthashastra, it is very, very historical point of view, every point of view from ancient period to till today. This was written during the period of the Mauryan period. This book is divided into 15 parts, and this book is covers so many topics related to polity, economy, society, position of women, administrative, rulers' qualities, everything mentioned in detail in this book. And this book is translated into various language. Then other sources, apart from Brahmanical literature, some other books also give us a lot of information about ancient Indian history and culture. Then Mudra Rakshasa is a play written by Vishaka Datta. It describes the society and culture of that period. Then Malavaka Agni Mitram written by Kalidasa gives us information here about Pushpa Mitrasunga. Then Harshcharitra written by Banabhatta throws light on many historical facts about which could not have known otherwise. Then Vikramankadeva Charitra by Villana, which is give information about Chalukyas of Vikramaditya. Means some books give information about North Indian rulers and history. Some books give information about the South Indian rulers and their history and their contribution to enrich the Indian history and culture. Then some biographical works. Then Rajatarangini, written by Kallana, is the best form of history writing valued by modern historians. Because previous some fact and fictions involved in history writing. But this book is considered by most of the historians as an authentic book because it was written in a systematic manner and it gives information about the history writing. Then Sangam literature. So the Sangam literature is give us information about the South Indian history. Mainly it was written in Tamil language and Chola Chera Panda, who were the rulers in South India. This literature give a lot of information about king, their administrative, their social system of that period and religious condition, position of women, everything covered. If we thoroughly understand Sangam literature, we mainly know about the South Indian history in a well manner. Then some scientific works also available. Then Surya Siddhanta and Romaka Siddhanta by Aryabhatta are authentic books on astronomy. Charaka Sahitya and Surya Siddhanta are on medical science, Ayurvedic. These all also give us a lot of information about Indian culture and society. Then some foreign accounts who were visited at the time in ancient time, they have given their accounts in their books, in their writing, which are very helpful to understand ancient India in a well manner. Fayan Huensang, the Chinese pilgrims, visited India and left behind so many documents. Apart from that, Al-Biruni traveled in the countries of East as well as the West and wrote his travels. And these foreigners who have visited at the time, they have written in a well manner, and those accounts we consider as foreign accounts or foreign travelers' details, which give us information about the period, the society, culture, and some information Indian relation with foreign countries, trade and economic relations. Then many Chinese travelers visited India. The Buddhist pilgrims from time to time, three important pilgrims, they are visited here. Fahian visited in 5th century, Huensang in 7th century, Yiping in 7th century. Most of these foreigners focus about the Buddhism and as well as the ruler of that time, the Huensang, who was visited India at that time. He given information about Harshavardhana, who was the ruler of at that time, and Fahyana, he is also visited in the time of uh, Chandragupta Vikramaditya time, the political situation, the Buddhism, and other details mentioned in their writing. Then Megasthenes Indica also give us a lot of information about Indian culture and tradition. Then Peripulus Erythiansi, a unknown author, but this is also give us information about India. Then Ptolemy's information, geographical treatise on India. So Greek, Chinese foreigners visited that time and they give us information about our Indian culture and tradition. And again, that point repeated. So literary sources at that time, how the literary writing was there, in which material they have used to write the history. So men used materials like skin, clay, bark, paper writing later on, and they kept in a safety. Then some archives also important. They have kept ancient documents in a well manner, and different methods people use to keep these records in a well manner. And some ancient museums, like example, Vatican Library, British Museum at London, Washington, and National Library at Calcutta, which are very oldest one, and they have kept lot of records related to our culture and relation with foreign and Indian. Then traditions also, some traditions which is also very important to understand. Such traditions are found in epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and some myths, legends. They also give us information about the time. The folklore, proverbs, place names indicate us to understand history in a well manner. Chronicles. That is very, very important. Without chronicle, we can't understand the history in a well manner. That's why these chronicles give us information about the political, social, economic, religious condition of that period and the ruler, their time, explained in a well. Biographies and autobiographies also, even individual achievements also give us written in a chronicles, which are very important for us. Then some study of language is called as a philology. This is also important for historical research as the words preserve ideas and give us information about past. Some North Indians mention the Sanskrit language as important. Then Dravidian language as the South Indian language. This language, when we united, then we thoroughly study the Indian history and culture in a well manner. Then historical writings. In previous centuries, historical writing was much like literary writings. They are mentioned in literary story type. Some are in mixed style. But today, the historical writing is not like that. Historical writing started as a scientific, systematic manner. Then professional historians, when they are now today also they want to write something, they have contributed to history also, like in articles, journals, authors, through news also. Then historical method, that what I previously mentioned, that systematically, scientifically, history writings and analysis and source-based writing, that is called as a historical method. If we want to, as a good historian, we have to practice, practice, practice. Then only we became as a good historian, and it's a never-ending process. So, contributing, writing articles, monographs, books, reviews, in journals, then we became a good historian. This is all about related to our history writing. Some legends and ballads also important to write the historical writing. That time some human actions, some superhuman beings mentioned in this legend and ballads also. Myths also very much important for writing history. Then legends also, God may come and go. At the human beings in the place as divine beings are made, the heroes and humans themselves are given present over the divine. They are narrative, which are historical in content but imaginative in character. Anyway, these myths, legends are very important for historical point of view. Only thing is that we have to understand those as a history point of view. Then ballads also. Then archaeological sources. One is writing what already in the previous time we have seen. Then when writing sources enable to us to write the history, that time we have to go to the archaeological sources, that is unwritten sources. So these archaeological sources consist of prehistoric remains, monuments, works of art, coins, inscriptions. These relics include caves, rock shelters, stone, tools, pottery, coins, seal, burial places, paintings, and monuments. Numerous prehistoric sites with tool of these kinds are discovered in France, Germany, Italy, China, and India. Then archaeological departments of India and other countries have conducted excavation in different regions for the discovery of the ancient civilization that had flourished in Nile, the Indus Valley, and other things. They reflect upon the ideas of men who designed their artistic ability and state of civilization. Because of archaeology, we found the Indus Valley civilization. Then one example I have mentioned this one here. If we want to thoroughly know the archaeological sources, prehistoric times, or Indus Valley civilization, we all are lucky persons in India. In Pune, there is a Deccan College which gives us information about prehistoric and Indus Valley, then socio-cultural, economic persons, burial system, methods, pot, whatever they have used at the time. So whenever you get the time, students, you definitely visit that one and get the correct information related to this period. Then inscription, different branches of sources for history. Epigraphy is the study of inscription, whether engraved upon metals. These inscriptions are found throughout the world. As public or private records, the finish considerable information. They belong to different categories. The Allahabad pillar inscription of Samudragupta. Some Ashoka's inscriptions also give us information about us. Some inscriptions belong to Buddhist period, some belong to Hindu period, Jain period. These inscriptions related in various forms. This is one example I have mentioned here. Then the Indian historians of modern times use the Mauryan, Gupta, Chola, Chera, Pandyas inscriptions, which give us a lot of information about the time, the language, the period, and rulers' thought. Then coins. Numismatic is the study of coins and models. To the historian, study of coins and seals has proved a considerable help, not only because of the tiles and portraits, but also because of the date that they furnish. Among the earliest of the seals to be discovered were those of the Indus Valley civilization. About 700 BC, gold coins were maintained, and circulation coins spread rapidly to the Mediterranean world. See, these coins are in various forms. Some are gold, some are silver, some are bronze. Today, what type of currency we are using? We are using the paper currency. But in ancient time, they have the currencies in gold, silver, and bronze. The coins are found of considerable help not only in gaining information for unknown areas in history, but also in correcting evidence furnished by other sources, asserting the extent of political boundaries, and in finding out the nature of commercial contact. Today, the Indian rupee is different, the foreign American rupee is different, the China rupee is different, but these notes or coins, these give us a lot of information about nation, the ruler, the time, the metal, the paper, everything. So these all things give us information about to write history and culture in a well manner. Then thus one example given the ancient type coins. Again the numismatic sources in this period and other periods. Then the coins See, in points the put shows that some Buddhist style, some ruler style. So even you take the one coin and found the India is written in somewhere in as a Indian coin, 1 rupee coin. In note you take any note, then Gandhi picture is there. In bottom they have mentioned the era, then our national languages. So this shows that this currency relation in that note is gives us information it's belong to India. When we go to foreign, oh, it's Indian currency, it's American currency. So that time also in ancient time, the coins shows the period, the ruler, the era, and if gold, the period is well. If silver or copper, then we say that okay, that period is not too much rich. Then some seals, paintings, and carvings also help us to understand history and culture in a well manner. Then Ajanta Ellora paintings are noted with portraits. They give us regarding religion, habit, life of the people in ancient times. For example, we take the rock art, where the earlier people draw the pictures on rock and they have mentioned and they will give us information to us. I'm surprised that these pictures also find till today in my sari, dress, scarf. What it shows, even not only this, even trees, animals, man found in both rock art and tattoos art. Even tattoo art, most of the our film stars, as well as sports persons, cricketers, even men and women of modern period or this period, they also put tattoo on their hands and some other parts of the body. It shows that how rich was that culture, how importance of that one. And these pictures shows that they given importance to the time. Thank you very much for listening my lecture. After completing every lecture, I send the notes to you to study in a well manner. Thank you very much.